This is episode 270 of Jumblethink.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Jumblethink, where we interview amazing entrepreneurs about their journey of turning dreams and ideas into reality. Along the way, we're going to share some tips on how you can turn your own dreams and ideas into reality too. Our guest on today's show is John Bundy. More about Bundy in a moment. You never have to miss an episode of Jumblethink. All you have to do is go to your favorite place to listen to podcasts, search for Jumblethink, and subscribe. While you're there, why don't you catch up on some past episodes or leave us a rating and review. Now let's jump into today's conversation with John Bundy. Hey there, welcome to Jumblethink. My name is Michael Woodward. I am your host. We have an incredible show lined up for you today. Before we get rolling, we want to take a moment and thank our friends who sponsor today's show. Penji, your source for unlimited graphic design at a low monthly subscription. As a listener of Jumblethink, they're giving 15% off your first month. Head on over, penji.co, that's .co, and use the code JUMBLE, Jumble, to get 15% off your first month. So head on over, penji.co, use that code JUMBLE. We also want to thank our friends over at NorthAmericanTEFL.com. They can help you get certified so you can teach English as a foreign language abroad. Check them out, NorthAmericanTEFL.com. I am super excited about today's guest. His name is John Bundy. John is originally from Long Island, New York, and for the last 20 years, he has been a designer and creative director working with crazy cool companies. Now he's the owner and creative director behind Scribe Design, and he and his team create humorous video ads and social media strategies that draw attention to your products and services. John currently lives with his wife and two daughters in Yorktown, Virginia. Let's go ahead and jump into our conversation with today's guest, John Bundy. We're with John Bundy today, also known as Bundy. His friends call him Bundy. We're friends now, so I get to say hey.
All right, Mike. What?
How are you?
Awesome. I'm doing fantastic.
Thanks for coming out to Podcast Row.
Oh, man, it's a dream. This is great. It's fantastic. Come back to my hometown and get to do something that I love to do, and that's talk. So, it's wonderful.
Talking is always fun, especially when people are listening. And I know you got some people on your
live
right here.
And Steve, what's up, man?
And, and we've got listeners listening in today with us. It's super fun to have you on.
Great.
I always like to just start and get this out of the way because people want to know this. Right. The guest always wants to share this. How can people find and connect with you?
Oh, wow. JohnRichardBundy.com is currently under construction, but you'll know it when you get there because you'll see this beautiful face. So www.johnrichardbundy.com, and then also on Facebook. You can look me up, John Bundy, if you look Yorktown, Virginia. Also, let's see, Scribe Design. So at Scribe Design and at morningfuelpodcast.com. Yeah.
Super cool. We're going to be talking about a lot of cool stuff today. We're going to be talking about Ignite Workspaces.
Yeah, ignition.
Ignition.
Yeah. Fuel and ignition, cause an explosion. So that's what we're doing.
Should do a better job of writing clearly so I can read. Ignition.
Yes, sir. Like your ignition in your car.
Yes.
Starting the ignition. Get it started.
All right. It is 9 a.m.
Yeah, we've only had one cup of coffee so far.
Yeah, I had a Red Bull. It's not kicked in. I need five more, I think, here. We're going to talk about collaboration. We're going to talk about your podcast. We're going to talk about Scribe Design, video, using video to promote your business. We're going to talk about a lot of fun things.
Right.
But before we talk about all of those, I want to get your backstory.
Okay.
Because you got kind of a cool story into entrepreneurship.
Sure.
And so I want our listeners to know a little bit about who you are. So tell us about that journey of child into entrepreneur. How did you get from point A to point Z in this journey?
Wow. I won't go too far back.
All right.
But originally from Long Island, New York, been down in Virginia since '88, married, two daughters. My oldest daughter's 21. My youngest, Kimberly, is 14.
Wow.
And she told me one day she wanted to be a YouTuber. And initially I was like, 14-year-old girl on YouTube. I said, nah, I don't think that's going to happen. But I was like, you know what? This is a great way for us to connect. Let's learn this together. So we started her YouTube channel. So Kimberly Faith TV, she gets on there. And what does she want to do? She wants to encourage her friends. So they're going through stuff, teenage girls.
Yeah.
So she talks about that stuff,
Yeah.
and then talks about how she's overcoming it or how she's still struggling it and what she's doing. So as I'm doing that, as I'm director, producer, editor of her YouTube channel, I'm like, I like this. This is fun. I've done graphic art and design for the past 20 plus years.
Yeah.
I've done some video before. And then as soon as I started producing her podcast, I was like, well, what can I make this a living? So I'm starting to, and it's happening fast.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So Scribe Design, we create humorous videos for social media to draw the attention of a crowd and start a riot around your product or service. So that's what we do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Really, really cool. I love that. It sounds like your journey of entrepreneurship didn't start out of a place of so many entrepreneurs. We hear about their story of like when they're 5, they're selling lemonade, and when they're 6, they're starting the next tech startup. Yeah,
like driving his big wheel. Right? No, but always creative.
Yeah,
I remember vividly when I was maybe about 10, 11, 12 years old. I'd be out in the backyard with a stick fighting dragons.
Wow.
Like I was a knight in shining armor. And
yeah.
I feel like that's coming full circle to today. I'm kind of doing that for businesses. I get out there and I'm fighting for people and encouraging people.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, you talked there about using video in a humorous way to tell stories, to get people to engage with that story.
Right.
Finding something that's engaging, something that's funny, and something that captivates an audience is hard to do. So let's talk a little bit about that and how you use humor or videos for businesses to help them connect with their audience. What do people need to know about that?
Okay, well, it's not new, first of all.
No.
So TV was invented to sell things. You know, so we're watching a program so that we can buy stuff when the commercial comes on. So it's not new, but so let's see. I'll just give an example. For example, one of my clients, Cryo 17 Newport News, they do cryogenic therapy. So you get in this chamber for 3 minutes, and it's like negative 150 degrees, and then it has these great benefits. I tried it out; it works. So people are afraid of that, or they don't know about it. So what we do is we think, well, what's funny about that? Well, what's funny about that is maybe some of the questions that people have surrounding it, like, is this going to freeze my balls off? Kind of stuff. So we did a commercial based around that. The fears that clients have, and then the dispelling of the fears with somebody explaining to them how it really works. Yeah. So we put that into a funny commercial. We have a young couple come on there. They're afraid, but then by the end they've got cryo and they feel great. Yeah. So as we're entertaining people, we're educating folks about the product and service as we go out throughout this commercial. And then at the end of it, we have a call to action where folks can sign up, go to the website, buy their stuff, stuff like that. So we go on social media because we're bored. Yeah. So we want to be entertained. And if it's not entertaining, you just scroll on by it. Right. So we try and catch people's attention and keep it.
So figure out fun ways, funny ways to engage people where they're feeling like, hey, this makes sense.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Super cool. Now you are in the space of communicating messages.
Yes.
But you also realize that in business, you can't just communicate your message one way. You have to do it in collaboration.
Right. Absolutely.
I'd love to talk a little bit about how you collaborate with clients to help them do that. I come in, let's say, and I say, I have an idea, or I have a brand or a business that I want to promote. It's not a one-way street where they just come in and say, hey, I want this, just go film it for me. Right. Talk to us a little bit about that process of going from you have something that somebody wants to promote, but you need to collaborate to give them an outlet that feels authentic to them, but also communicates with their audience. How do you navigate that collaboration to create?
Really, it's face-to-face. It's just get together with people. Now, what I do is mainly B2B. So I'm doing, this with business owners. Yeah. I do really believe wholeheartedly that we as individuals are a personal brand. Not only have I been listening to big names in business say that, but I believe it. And the resume was a piece of paper, no longer is. Your employer that you're trying to get a job with looks at your Facebook first. Yeah. So if they like you, they're going to hire you. If they don't like you, they're not going to hire. So behave yourselves on Facebook. So when I get together with a client or a business owner, for example, I want to get to know their heart. Why do you do what you do? Yeah. And if I believe in their product or service myself, if I try it and I know that it works, and they're not jerks, then we can do business together. Right. And what we do is we have this meeting, and here's another example. So Brian and Dorothy Bayford, they started a company called Reef in Peace. Okay. They're taking your cremated ashes or loved ones, putting them into a concrete tetrahedron that has holes in it with a plaque on top, your monument, and then they're deploying it off of the coast of Virginia Beach and off the coast of Florida.
Yeah.
And it's building a reef. So it's doing two things. It's one, it's not filling the cemeteries anymore. And then you also get to do something that's good and that's help the environment with building. So I'm like, how do we market this thing? Well, in the meeting, Dorothy mentioned you have to think outside the box when you're doing business, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's it.
Yeah.
You got to think outside the box. You're not in the cough in the box anymore.
Yeah.
You're doing this thing now. You're, for eternity in the ocean with the fish, sleeping with the fishes.
Yeah.
So we just have to have a sense of humor about ourselves, and then a commercial is born out of that.
Yeah.
And then we take that long form commercial, and we chunk it up into little 30-second, 15-second pieces to be content out there on social media.
Super cool.
know.
Well, I want to take and pivot here for a minute as we wrap up this first segment.
Okay.
How are you finding purpose in what you do?
Wow. Listening to a book recently called Flow.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to try and pronounce the doctor's name that wrote it, but I'm listening to it on Audible, and he's talking about that sort of unending energy that you get when you're doing something that you love to do. That's kind of where I try and stay.
Yeah.
So if I don't like to do it, or if it's out of my wheelhouse, I'll farm that out. I'll get somebody else that likes to do that sort of thing to do it.
Right.
Like my admin, I'm a mess, so I don't touch it. So I virtual assistant, get her to do that. Jennifer Maroney of SOS, and so finding people to do the thing that they love to do, and myself staying in that spot where I love to do what I'm doing is, it's endless energy, and I just stay there. That's my purpose.
All right. I also wanted to talk a little bit about Ignition Workspaces. Yeah. That's a new thing you're working on.
Yes, sir.
Ignition. I'll get that right. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, a collaborative work environment's not new.
Yeah.
They've been around for quite a while.
Yeah.
But where I'm located in Virginia, they're just starting to catch on. People don't even know what a collaborative work environment is. So when you lease a big building and then you rent out the space, it's like a gym membership for business owners. So folks that can't afford a building will come and they'll rent space, and they can call it their building. This is my office. Come to my office. We've got a conference room. We've got event space. We've got all these amenities. So that's what I fell in love with about 2 years ago. Well, just recently, I've been handed the opportunity to open one in Williamsburg, Virginia.
Oh, wow.
And so we're hitting the ground running. We've already done demo. This past week we did demo. We knocked down some walls, and it's going to be a sweet-looking space. And I'm super excited to talk about it, promote it. But I get to work with these fine folks that I'm doing business with and helping to make videos and stuff like that.
Super cool.
Yeah. So Courtney Bazell Riley of Proximo Marketing, it's a woman-owned and run business, and she's just killing it where we live. She handed me this opportunity, and she does everything media. She does it, and she's assisting me. She's helping me to start my own business, and we collaborate together. I'm doing work for her. She's doing work for me, and it's wonderful. We all grow together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, crazy. So for you, in the businesses that you run, what's one challenge you're currently working to overcome?
Time.
Okay.
I work a 9 to 5 at NASA in Hampton,
Oh,
Virginia.
wow. Okay.
I'm an inspector.
Okay.
It's not something that I like to do, but it's necessary. It puts food on the table, pays the mortgage.
Yeah.
So being there for 9 hours every day, Monday through Friday, is a challenge because I know I need to be doing something else. And because I've got 3 businesses going at the same time. So it's interesting. The collaboration helps though, because I got folks working for me that want to grow with me, and they know eventually I'll be leaving NASA. So yeah.
Tell us about one big goal you have for the business. Where do you want to see these go? I mean, you've got the design of the videos. You've got Ignition, which I got right this time. Ignition. You've got other things you're working on. Tell us the big goal.
Well, the big goal is really just to help as many business owners as I can, individuals and business owners as I can. So the better I get at it, the more I can do, the more efficiently I work, the more I can do. So figuring all those systems and processes out and then helping as many people as I can. I had people that sewed into my life with encouragement and support. I came here with the cost of this in the short amount of time I had to raise funds to do it because I'm opening 3 businesses. I'm tapped out. Everything's going to those businesses. So folks all the way up to when I was at the front door this morning are sending me money so that I can be here. And so that right there I want to do for others. So that's it, and just do as much as I can until I pass off the scene.
Super cool. We're going to take a break right here.
Okay.
And we'll be back with Bundy. There is a simple belief, a heartbeat behind what we do here at JumbleThink. It's a very simple belief. The belief is that all of us are created for something incredible, that we have purpose, that our ideas, that our dreams, and our destiny matter. For many that I know, they've chosen to step into that. For others, though, they have chosen to be stopped by the obstacles and fear ahead of them. Today, I have a simple favor to ask. You may know a family member, a friend, a coworker, or even yourself who knows that they have dreams, that they know that they have ideas, and that they're created for something, but they don't know what to do next. Would you do something very simple? Let them know about JumbleThink. Share your favorite episode or topic with them, and let them know about how JumbleThink is impacting your life. That's our first favor. Now, the second thing I want to ask you is that if you think this message of ideas and dreams is important, and you're hosting an event, or you know of someone hosting an event, I would love an introduction. I would love to start that conversation and see if we would be the right fit to come in and speak at that event. I can share about all kinds of things, created purpose, about innovation, around micro experiments, and much, much more. I would love to be a part of your event or the event of your friend. So that's all I'm asking today. If you know of a friend, a family member, or coworker that JumbleThink would impact and encourage them on the journey of chasing dreams and ideas, share an episode with them. And if you're hosting an event or know someone, I'd love to chat with you and see if I can be a part of serving your audience and helping them turn their dreams and ideas into reality. Now let's jump back into today's show as we continue our conversation with John Bundy. We are back with Bundy.
Hey.
All right, so we've been talking a lot about your backstory. We've talked a lot about how you got into entrepreneurship.
Right.
You work for NASA. I mean,
right.
Where'd that come from?
That was out of desperation.
I was out of desperation?
Yeah. There's Newport News Shipbuilding. It's a large shipyard. They build like all the nuclear submarines and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So we live in that neighborhood, and I worked for the shipyard for about 3 years.
Yeah.
And I had an opportunity to go into the restaurant business, and I really, that's another love of mine is food. Dreamed about owning my own restaurant one day.
Yeah.
So I started working moonlighting. I'd go to the shipyard, work my 10, 12 hours, and then go to a restaurant close by, about 45 minutes from where I worked, and work there till about 11 o'clock. Well, as I was there, the owner of the restaurant's getting ready to retire, and he's grooming me to be the sous chef, and then eventually move into owning the restaurant is what I thought. As soon as I quit the shipyard, that job fell through.
Wow.
So I'm jobless.
Yeah.
And I've got a wife, 2 girls. We're taking care of my mother-in-law, all living in the same house. And I spiraled into depression and anxiety, and I couldn't get out. It was it felt like an eternity.
Wow.
But because of the prayers of my friends and my wife and my daughters and their support, and then also starting into some daily practices in the morning, I started recovering from that. And during that recovery, a friend of mine knew I was looking for work, and he worked at NASA.
Wow.
So I was like, how in the world am I going to get a job at NASA? I don't math. So I just don't. Hey, it was boom, boom, boom. I'm in NASA. So I'm working at NASA as an inspector now for the past over 2 years now.
Wow.
And of course, that spark of creative is stifled in that environment because I just math.
Yeah.
So I always had this, okay, what can I do? And then my daughter wanted to be a YouTuber, and next thing you know, here I am doing what I do. And it's been amazing. And it's only been a very, very short period of time.
Well, I think that there was something really powerful that you mentioned in that story. that people would gloss over, and that is whether it's entrepreneurship, whether it's just life in general, we need each other.
Yeah, we do.
And so often, especially in the story of business, it's my business. I've got to make it work. I've got to do it.
Right.
In the story of life, so many people are struggling,
Right.
and it's, I've got to fix this. I've got to do that. But there is power in community.
There is.
And you mentioned you had friends, and through prayer and support and friendship, it helped you get through that depression.
Yes.
And I think many entrepreneurs need to learn that lesson. So let's talk a little bit more about community.
Love to. Wow. Yeah, my favorite.
Yeah. And you are building community with Ignition.
Yes.
You are in community with the people around you.
Yeah.
How is that being a superpower, if you will, to really turbocharge what you're doing?
Yeah, wow. Well, first of all, I know I can't do it without others.
Yeah.
I think as I tried for years to do graphic art and design, it was always me. So I was a solopreneur.
Yeah.
I didn't really know even what that was at the time, but I was trying to do all the work myself.
Yeah.
And you cap out really fast.
Yeah.
And then the things that you're not strong in, like for me, it was admin. It was taking care of the paperwork. It was invoicing, all that stuff. I was very, very poor at that. I could do the creative. I could get the jobs. I could talk with the clients, but everything else was falling apart. So then eventually the business didn't last. So I was in and out of trying to work for myself while I'm working full time for years.
Yeah.
You know, so now that I know that I can't do it, I always invite people into the story. And so I'm continuing to look for, and every time I'm with somebody, I think, how can I hire this person to work with me or for me, you know, depending on what type of business they have, and how can I help them?
Yeah.
So that's been there, part of my heart, so that when I stumbled across a collaborative work environment 2 years ago, I was like, I need to duplicate this.
Yeah.
So 2 years ago, I started looking for a building. And it fell through. There was a lot of work needed to be done to the building, and I really couldn't get people to catch on to what a collaboration space was. Like I said, where I'm at, they're just starting to exist.
Yeah.
So I finally ran into a lady that had been doing it.
I want to pause you there.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we say all the time on the show here, isolation is the death march of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And small business, for that matter.
Yeah.
So often we go on this journey of entrepreneurship, like you have an idea, you have a dream, you have a concept.
Right.
And you just kind of don't know where to start.
Right.
So you just kind of step out and you're like, yeah, okay, I got to do this on my own. And in that, I think, you know, they talk about the life cycle of the average startup or the average small business being 3 to 5 years. And most of them fizzle out way before that. Being in community when building your business is really powerful.
Yeah, it is.
And I think that we need to do a better job of filling the gap when people start up, getting them in that community early on. So you're talking here about a lot of the people that are coming into Ignition are partnering with you in some way. They're in the early stages of their journey.
Sure.
So talk to us a little bit about some of those challenges that they're facing, specific that are different than maybe established businesses. Because a lot of people, when they think WeWork, when they think of these co-working spaces, they're thinking we might need a place for one of our employees to go.
Sure.
That's working remotely. Or we may need a small place for our team, or I'm just a graphic or web designer. I need to go get a space there. And so a lot of those businesses are already in formation stage. They already have some legs. They already have some existence. But I think one of the things you said there that really stood out to me is that you are early on saying, hey, come be a part of this community from day one of starting your business.
Sure.
And that seems like a really, really good place to set a foundation that's very firm.
Right.
So talk to us a little bit more about that.
Well, my story is starting business. I would start, and one of the problems I had was distraction. So I'd be at home. I'd have my desk, my computer right next to my bed.
Okay.
And usually a pile of laundry on the bed or something else in the house that needs to be done, and I get no work done. So productivity very, very low.
Yeah.
So then I go, okay, well, let me go ahead and go to the local coffee shop and let me set up there. Well, you got your computer, everything in hand. You go to the coffee shop. Either there's no tables, or you finally get a table and then it's loud, or you have to take a phone call and then you're like, what am I going to do with my computer? I can't just leave it here. I need to use the restroom. I got to gather everything up. So all these challenges that we have. And when I started at the local, I'm a customer of the collaboration space before I actually started it.
Yeah.
So I'm in someone else's space right now, starting my space, starting my business.
Yeah.
My productivity is through the roof.
Right.
Because of that environment. Now, when it comes to folks coming in, well, new folks coming in, a part of one of the perks of our space is the fact that you have a support group of advisors.
Right.
So along with your subscription to the space, you also have a board of advisors that you can meet with 30 minutes twice a month. You can meet with whoever, and they're different industries.
Yeah.
So the only reason why you wouldn't have the answers you needed if you didn't ask or if you didn't actually go. So it's all there set up for you.
So you're kind of marrying the co-working with the incubator space.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that incubators are great, but what happens after that? You lose your community.
You do. And you can stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's really, really powerful.
Right.
So what are some of the other lessons you've learned about community and how it plays out with business?
Well, I think that you have to understand that there's more than enough pie.
Okay.
So I know that some of the networking groups I've gotten involved with, you could only have one of each industry.
Yeah.
I think you lose something there.
Yeah.
Because you and, say you're a plumber and then another plumber there, you can teach each other stuff. And if you understand that your friends, you're both in the same business, yes, we can learn from each other and there's more than enough customers.
Yeah.
So the ability to get with people that are doing the same thing that you're doing and not be afraid that they're going to steal your ideas or whatever, or steal your business.
Yeah.
I go to church.
Yeah.
And my pastor's awesome. He's a businessman too.
Yeah.
He does. His name is Ken Kramer. He also does life coaching and like that. Okay. So he's so I can go and I can talk to him and have conversations with him and but. I love him. We've been going, my family and I have been going there for the past 15 plus years. But if I meet somebody that wants to start going to church where I live in Yorktown, I know other churches in that, I would say go to that one. It's closer to your house. Yeah. So I'm not going to say, no, you got to come to ours. So it's the same with the businesses. It's like, okay, if they're closer to you, or some people do business with us because they like us. Yeah. They don't do business with us if they don't like us. No, like and trust. So if you got a personality that you work best with, you go, you'd really be good with so and so, the plumber. Yeah. Or depending on who you are, So that's really the way it works. Is you gotta not be afraid. You can't be selfish. In business. If you're selfish in business, you're gonna shrivel up and die. Yeah. So it's about being generous and sharing. Yeah. So good. I'm a person of faith myself. Yeah. Right. Pastored for years. Wow. Cool. I love that. So many entrepreneurs are willing to talk about their faith more and how that's a foundation for what they do. Right. And I think community plays into that. A community of faith being a church or whatever that may look like for that individual. Mm-hmm. And there's a wealth of value there. So I just want to pivot here for a second and just ask the question, how does faith inform your decisions as a business person, as a person who is building what you're building? Good question. No one's asked me that before. Well, I have to personally say that being a man of faith since '94, and learning and stumbling and falling and growing and falling and falling and falling and growing, there's always been that spot to go back to. Yeah. No matter if everything else falls down, there's always been that point to go back to. Yeah. No matter how hard it hurts, you get this spot, this safe place. So that was really integral in getting me out of that spiral of depression and anxiety. Yeah. When I started those morning rituals, one of them was meditation. Yeah. And prayer. Yeah. And journaling and like that. So when I get to wake up each morning and meet with my Creator, and take some time and actually shut up. A lot of times people pray and they don't stop. They don't listen. So and actually have that time where I'm silent. I believe I'm given the answers that I need. Everything that I have, I believe, has been a gift, and I've been in this constant state of flow over the past couple of months, just kind of walking along and going, oh wow, that's cool. Oh wow, just taking these things that are being handed to me, and it's effortless.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, when there was that challenge, when I was in that really, really dark spot of where I was waking up each morning hating the fact that I woke up.
Yeah.
I was going through this period of time where I didn't want to be alive. It was that painful emotionally and mentally. And I didn't think it was going to end, so I didn't see any hope. So having that ability to, even in that time, through that dark time, to be able to go somewhere and say help, and then listen and get the answers to get out and what you need. So very important.
Very cool. Love that. Yeah. We want to talk about one last thing in this segment, and that would be your podcast, because you have a show too.
Yeah, I do. Look, and I brought coasters.
You brought coasters.
Morning Fuel.
Yes.
Yeah, your story doesn't belong to you.
Yes. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so my wife told me years ago that I have a face for radio, and I was like, I'm going to go with that.
Yeah.
And so I started trying to get into radio, amateur radio. We did some volunteering and stuff like that. But the thing about radio stations is usually only a handful of DJs, and no one wants to give up their jobs. So these jobs aren't plentiful.
Right.
But anyone can do a podcast now. So it's been an idea for a while. And what I do is I bring on local business owners. We usually have a relationship. Either we've met networking before, or they're actually some of my clients. I have them on the show, and it's a free show. They come on and they talk about what they do and why they do it. And we get into topics such as faith. We get into topics as family and the idea, where'd that come from, stuff like that. Yeah. And then other people get to hear their story and get brave and maybe start their own business, you know, or do that thing that they've been not wanting to do for a long time. So that's what we do on Morning Fuel. Yeah, it comes out Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. It's available on every podcast platform.
Super cool. All right, we're going to wrap up this segment. I want to make sure that we mention one more time where people can find and connect with you. Okay,
great. Well, johnrichardbundy.com. Also, Scribe Design at Scribe Design 1 on Facebook. Scribe Design also has a YouTube channel, and Morning Fuel has a Facebook. It's a Morning Fuel podcast on Facebook as well.
Super cool. We will be right back with Bundy for rapid fire questions.
Okay. Wow, cool.
Today's show is brought to you by Penji and North American TEFL. Here's a little bit more about Penji. Penji helps startups, agencies, small businesses, big corporations, and even marketing teams achieve more with unlimited graphic design support at one flat monthly rate. Their easy-to-use online platform pairs you with a professional designer and lets you create as many design projects as you want. Think of it as your monthly subscription to top-notch design. No contracts, no hourly billing, just fast, simple, and affordable graphic design for all of your needs. As a listener of Jumblethink, they're doing something very cool for you. If you go to Penji, PENJI.co, and use the code JUMBLE, you'll get 15% off your first month. So head on over, Penji.co, use that code JUMBLE, and start your perfect design today. We also want to thank our friends over at NorthAmericanTEFL.com. Did you just graduate from university and you're not sure what step to take next? Or maybe you're looking for an exciting career transition. If you are interested in exploring the world while still earning income, you can teach English as a foreign language in one of a dozen countries across the world, from China to Colombia to Japan and beyond. If you want to get a work visa, most embassies and employers in the educational field require teachers to earn a certification in teaching English as a foreign language. For more information about how you can travel the world as a teacher, see new exciting places, and even build a career, visit NorthAmericanTEFL.com. That's NorthAmericanTEFL.com. Now, let's return to our conversation with today's guest, Bundy. We are back with Bundy. All right. It's that time in the show where I have to ask, are you ready for rapid fire questions?
I am ready.
All right. First question.
Shields are up.
All right. All right. As a child, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I wanted to be a fighter pilot. I wanted to be a fighter pilot or a knight in shining armor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's space for both of those.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. What's one tip you'd give someone with a big idea or dream and they don't know where to start?
Don't be afraid to talk about it.
Okay.
Talk with somebody that that believes in you, that'll listen, and don't be afraid of constructive criticism either. Even if it's just, that idea sucks.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of that.
Yeah.
Think about it. Go, okay, why does it suck? Or is that person just being a jerk today? Just kind of, but be able to kind of take some time on that. Yeah.
What's one big lie about entrepreneurship you'd like to break?
That anybody can do it.
All right.
And
what do you mean by that? Well,
I think sometimes people think that, I'm getting this from a book called The E-Myth by Michael Gerber.
Yeah.
That you have to be an entrepreneur to start a business, and that's not true.
Right.
So really anybody can do it, but I don't think everyone can or should.
Yeah.
And it really is depending on timing too. Are you ready?
What is one big change you'd like to see in the world?
I just want people to love each other, man. I tell my girls, when they're fighting when they're younger, it was like love one another. Love one another was the thing, and how treat people how you want to be treated, kind of stuff, and also have grace. When someone's having a bad day, don't stop being their friend, because don't unfriend them because they said something that you didn't agree with or whatever.
What do you want your legacy to be?
Wow, I want my daughters and their children and their children's children to love God and also to believe in themselves and to do that dream that they have in their heart. Just to do it, go for it, try it. I mean, you regrets if you don't even try it.
Where do you find inspiration?
I find inspiration in the scripture. I find inspiration in my daughters, my wife, even my mother-in-law, believe it or not. I find inspiration in worship, in music. Yeah. Praise and worship. I find a lot of inspiration in that.
What's one book you think every dreamer or entrepreneur should read?
Oh, wow. Blue Like Jazz.
I love that.
Blue Like Jazz. Yeah.
Donald
That
Miller.
one absolutely changed my life. Also, The Shack is another one that really gets you thinking.
Yeah. How do you define success?
Well, if you followed Gary Vaynerchuk at all, listen to anything he has to say, it's happiness. So success is happiness. Success equals happiness.
What's one trend you're currently excited about?
I'm excited that the radio is coming back. I'm excited that people are going to be sitting around their Alexa pods instead of around the TV and listening to stories. Yeah. Just the fact that because of the ease of audio, being able to just say, hey, Alexa, read me my daily brief or something like that. No one's going to touch anything. You're just going to walk in your bathroom and ask them to read the newspaper to you or whatever.
What is one habit that is helpful in your life as an entrepreneur?
Exercise.
Okay.
Physical exercise first thing in the morning. All right. Yeah, yoga and I run as well, so that helps me. When I skip it, I feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's one thing you wish you would have known when you first started out?
Wow. When I first started out, that's a tough one. It's okay to fail.
Yeah.
I would be down for a long time, down for the count. I wouldn't get it back up after I failed, but now I learned from it and actually welcome it.
Yeah. If you weren't doing what you're doing today, what do you think you'd be doing?
Wow. Still working at NASA? Seriously, I mean, and miserable, but no, I mean, what I'm doing right now is what I want to do and what I've been doing for a while. So, yeah.
Our final rapid fire question for today. It's the big one.
Uh-oh.
My favorite
one.
Come on,
man.
Yeah. What is one dream you're still wanting to fulfill in your own life?
I want to travel across the country in an RV with my family, take about a month and visit all of the national, all the things that are destroyed in like adventure movies and sci-fi movies, all those national monuments. Yeah, that's what I want to do. Go to the Grand Canyon, the Hoover Dam, and ask them for some dam bait and stuff like that,
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Well, as we wrap up today's show, we always like to leave our guests have a final thought. What's your final thought for our listeners today?
Wow, if you're not happy, get happy. Like go after that. And if it's going to take you doing something or stopping hanging around certain folks that are dragging you down, get away from them or do that thing that you want to do and get happy.
Yeah. As we wrap up the show, I have to say I have a little bit of envy. You have the coolest beard of today, and I love it. Super fun. Thanks for being on the show and sharing with us your story.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
We want to thank Bundy for taking time out and being on today's show. We also want to thank our friends over at Podcast Row, hosted by Stand Up New York in New York City, for hosting the interview. It's an honor to partner with them, and we look forward to sharing more interviews from Podcast Row in the future. Wow, it was so fun to have Bundy on today's show, and I really enjoyed the conversation. For me, the big takeaway was simple: the power of community. We even put that into the title of today's show. Why is community so important? As I said in the episode, I always say isolation is the death march of entrepreneurship, but it's not just the death march of entrepreneurship, it is the death march of life. When you aren't in community, you are lacking so much. Community is a powerful resource, a tool, and I would consider it a superpower in life. The more you have healthy relationships, the more you have the right people around you, the better you're positioned to see the breakthroughs in your own life. So for you, if you are struggling with finding that place of community, right here at Jumblethink, we have that community for you. You can connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. You can drop me a note, hello@jumblethink.com. I'll get it. I'll see it. Let's start that conversation about how we can dream together. Because when we do things together, life is so much better. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What was your takeaway from today's show? Drop it in the comments on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or Twitter for today's show. Now I'm going to toss it to you. I believe you were created for something awesome, that the dreams and ideas inside of you are worth pursuing. So get out there, chase your dreams, and change the world around you.
En avant, en arrière, sur les côtés. Vous êtes une autre personne. Les mères de famille, les enfants, peuvent également prendre un moment revitalisant. Dans quelques mois, lorsque vous aurez bien saisi la technique et que vous serez maître de votre corps, vous pourrez vous décontracter même en travaillant.